What if the latest chapter in the Duggar family story isn't just another scandal, but a quiet, deeply personal struggle that one sister has finally begun to put into words? Joanna Duggar has opened up about what she calls the hardest time she has ever gone through, describing days that feel heavy and dark while she tries to hold on to hope. Fans who have followed her since the early days of 19 Kids and Counting are watching closely, wondering how this latest family crisis is reshaping her life and her sense of peace. The details she has shared on her sister's podcast reveal a woman navigating grief, faith, and the desire to protect her own young family. Stick around, because the full picture of what Joanna is facing, and how she is choosing to respond, paints a more complicated and human story than many expected. The Duggar family first captured national attention through the TLC series 19 Kids and Counting, which followed Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar as they raised their 19 children under strict conservative Christian principles. Joanna, born in 1997 as the ninth child, grew up in the public eye. Viewers watched her courtship with Austin Forsyth, their 2017 wedding, and the arrival of their three children, Gideon, Evelyn, and Gunnar. Along the way, the family endured major upheavals, including the cancellation of their original show and the later conviction of oldest brother Josh Duggar on child pornography charges. Those earlier events already left lasting scars. Now a new crisis has forced many of the siblings to confront painful questions once again. Understanding that history helps explain why Joanna's recent comments carry so much weight. Her words come at a moment when the family is once more under intense scrutiny, and they offer a rare look at how one sister is processing the fallout while trying to keep her own household steady. In March 2026, Joseph Duggar was arrested in Arkansas and later faced charges in Florida related to the alleged molestation of a 9-year-old girl during a 2020 family trip. The allegations, which authorities said involved repeated incidents, shocked the family and the public. Joanna was among the first siblings to respond publicly. In a statement shared on Instagram stories, she wrote that what had come out about her brother was heartbreaking and deeply disturbing. She said her heart was with the victim, that she was grieved by the pain and harm caused, and that she had been a wreck that week while taking time to process. She also asked for prayers and noted she would step back from some public commitments to focus on her family. 2 months later, in late May 2026, Joanna appeared on her sister Ginger Duggar Vuolo's podcast and spoke more openly about the ongoing emotional toll. She described the period as the hardest time she had ever gone through. Every day felt different and heavy, she said, though some things had begun to feel lighter with time. She admitted she had been struggling and had leaned on her faith more than ever before, calling that a positive development even while acknowledging there was no simple black and white answer. Joanna explained that she and her siblings were grieving in different ways. She spoke of trying to grab onto positive things because the situation had been super hard, super dark, and really heavy. At the same time, she said she was holding on and doing okay, though she was carefully balancing how much to discuss publicly. Talking about it online, she felt, sometimes rubbed the pain in their faces, and part of her simply wanted to move on with life. These statements matter because they show Joanna choosing honesty over silence at a moment when many family members have offered brief or carefully worded responses. Her willingness to name the darkness while still pointing to her faith gives fans a clearer sense of the private cost of public family crises. Context from earlier years adds depth to her current struggle. Joanna has previously spoken about her own experiences with loss and mental health, including the stillbirth of her daughter Annabelle at 20 weeks in 2019 and a difficult bout of postpartum depression after the birth of her youngest son. Those earlier challenges already required her to rebuild emotionally. The newest family scandal appears to have reopened old wounds for several siblings, as Duggar also noted on the same podcast episode. Meanwhile, practical changes in Joanna's life have continued. In 2024, she and Austin sold their longtime Arkansas home and spent time in California connected to his work, drawing closer to Duggar's family. By late 2025, they had purchased a new home and continued building their own household. Austin himself reached out to Joseph after the arrest with a supportive message that focused on faith and practical help for Joseph's wife Kendra. Joanna's public comments, however, have centered on the victim's pain and her own need for space rather than defending her brother. This distinction has not gone unnoticed. As legal proceedings continue, including developments in related Arkansas charges against both Joseph and Kendra, Joanna has made clear that her priority is processing the impact on her immediate family and finding a way forward that feels sustainable. Public response to Joanna's openness has been largely sympathetic, though varied. Many longtime viewers expressed relief that she acknowledged the gravity of the allegations and centered the alleged victim. On social media and in comments under news coverage, supporters praised her honesty about the emotional weight and her decision to lean on faith during a dark season. Some fans noted that her comments felt more measured and personal than earlier family statements, seeing them as a sign of growth. Others pointed out the difficulty of balancing family loyalty with moral clarity, especially given the history of previous scandals. Media outlets reported her words straightforwardly, often pairing them with updates on the legal cases rather than sensational framing. A portion of online discussion remained critical of the broader family culture that some believe contributed to repeated crises, yet even in those conversations Joanna's individual statements were frequently treated as a step toward accountability. Overall, the reaction has reflected a mix of concern for the siblings still navigating the fallout and appreciation for any honest insight into how the latest events are being felt privately. Looking ahead, the legal process involving Joseph remains ongoing, with further court dates and potential outcomes still unfolding. Joanna has not announced any major new public projects or detailed plans beyond continuing to prioritize her children and personal recovery. Viewers can reasonably expect that she will keep sharing selectively, as she has done so far, while protecting the balance she described on the podcast. Any additional family statements or developments in the cases will likely shape the next phase of public attention. For now, her own words remain the clearest verified window into how this chapter is affecting her. Joanna Duggar's recent comments reveal a woman carrying the weight of yet another family crisis while trying to protect her own sense of peace and her children's future. From her initial statement of shock and grief to her later admission that this has been the hardest season of her life, she has offered a candid look at the emotional cost. Her emphasis on faith, her desire to move forward without constant public revisiting of the pain, and her ongoing focus on her immediate family form the core of this update. The journey she has described is not dramatic in the way reality television once packaged the Duggars, but it is deeply human. What are your thoughts on this latest Duggar family update? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Duggar family update.